Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining my channel. My name is Calderas, and today I am going to teach you everything you need to know about loadouts, how to change your gear from one character to another, and how to do it the simplest and fastest way possible. So you can get rid of all of your old gear or put it to the side if you have multiple characters with each one of them having their own set of gear and you just don't want to worry about augmenting every single set. You just have one set of gear for all your characters that use it. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to press the letter K. When you press the letter K, it's going to bring up your combat style. What we want to do is we want to jump over to the Loadouts tab, left click it once, and you're going to be met with a Loadouts page. Now there is no hotkey to go straight to your loadout page, otherwise we would have gone straight there. But as you can see, I have all these different loadouts for my character, and all the gear associated with these loadouts is located inside of my legacy cargo bay. This is the same on all of my characters, but before we get into that, yours may not look like mine, or it may look different. If you are brand new to the game, or have a new character, or haven't messed with your loadout at all, you're probably only going to see maybe one loadout up here at the top, and it may say Loadout 1, unless you have used the Edit Loadout Name function here that looks like a pen that is writing. You can press this button, and you can rename your loadout for that particular setting. So that is my Sage Heal. We're going to leave everything like it is here on my screen, but I'm going to pretend like my Shadow Dot spec here is at the top of your loadout. We currently have no gear on, and I recommend if you have gear on, go ahead and remove it, and just follow along with me as we go through this process. Now, I know all my gear is inside of my legacy cargo bay. This looks really cluttered, and I understand it's probably like overwhelming to a few folks. But let me go ahead and take a minute to explain exactly how I've got my cargo bay set up so that it can kind of make a little bit of sense to some folks. So at the very top up here, this is everything I use, all the way to the 2 cloaks tactical, from reading from left to right, and then back to left, back to right. To the 2 cloaks tactical, that is all my tank gear that I use for my Shadow tank. Behind the 2 cloaks tactical begins my DPS slash skank tank slash healing gear, all the way up to the overwhelming offense tactical. Now, after the offense tactical begins my DPS armor. So each one of these pieces is designed specifically for DPS. I've got 4 pieces of accuracy. Legs are accuracy, chest is accuracy, helmet and gloves are accuracy, with the exception of the boots, which are critical. Now, behind that is my 2 implants for my Shadow DPS spec, Serenity, that I use, along with that tactical that I use for my Shadow DPS spec. So for me, what it looks like whenever I pull it out is going to say I need my weapon, I need my offhand, I need a belt, I need a wrist, and I already know that since I use critical on my boots, that I'm going to need an extra piece of alacrity. So that's where my earring comes in. I use the exact same relics for pretty much all of my classes that I play. So therefore I don't need 1500 relics, I only need 2. Because those 2 relics are going to be used for healing, skank tanking, and DPS specs. For the most part, with the exception of some classes may find it more preferable to use a critical relic, I use mastery and power. So now that I've pulled out my main hand, offhand, belt, bracer, earring, and my 2 relics, I will pull out the rest of my DPS gear that I need for the spec that we're getting ready to talk about. I will go ahead and exit out of my legacy bay, and oops, we don't want to do that just yet. Wait, yeah we do, because we're already on our spec, because we're pretending like this says Loadout 1 for you. So let's go back to gear. Let's go ahead and equip ourselves with gear. Now, one of the big things that you need to make sure of whenever you're doing this for your character is make sure your stats are where they need to be. Okay? I can't stress this enough, because if you do what I'm doing and you don't make sure your stats are where they need to be at and the gear that you're wearing, there's a very good chance you've got the wrong gear on. So it's always good on every single character. Just double check it real quick. Only takes a minute. Just double check. So as we can see right now, it's not right. My accuracy is too low. My critical looks right and my alacrity looks right, but for my DPS spec, I know I need to be above 110 accuracy, or at 110% accuracy. So I know this ain't right, so now I gotta figure out which piece is wrong. But it's my stem, because I don't have my accuracy stem equipped. So once I press my accuracy stem, now I know my accuracy is correct. So this is the correct gear for my character and the spec that I'm currently in. Okay, so now we've confirmed this is the right gear. Now we'll go back to our loadout, and we're going to create a new loadout. Now this new loadout that you're going to create, we're going to call this naked. We're just going to type naked. I already have one created already, but I'm going through the motions with you guys so that y'all can do what I'm doing. So you got a new loadout now. We're going to call it naked, and you're going to click OK. Now as soon as you click OK, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see naked, but you're going to have all this gear on. That's not what we want. So let's go over to the gear section. Let's remove all of this gear for this loadout, and then we're going to go back to loadout. Now here I'm going to show you exactly what this loadout is for. This is so that you can remove all your gear instantly to put it inside of your legacy storage. So let's swap back to our DPS spec, or whatever loadout you first created at the beginning of this video with me, and let's click on it. So now we see this is the right gear. We just checked it. Let's double check it again, because you can never be too sure. Everything seems to be right. So this is the right gear for this loadout. Now let's go to naked. You click naked, you click activate, and now we're completely naked, and all of our gear goes right into our inventory, ready to get put into the bank. So what we're going to do is go over to our cargo bank. We're going to put everything away. I'm putting it away in the fashion that I am used to, because of how I have my legacy bay set up. And now all we have to do is let's exit out of it. Let's say, okay, somebody popped up, Sedge. Alright, let's say Sedge. He's looking for 1 healer for a Terror from Beyond. Alright? Well, let's pretend like he's looking for a DPS, because that's what I just did. I just made a DPS spec. So let's say he's looking for 1 DPS. I send him a message and I say, hey man, I'll DPS for you. He's like, alright. He sends me an invite. I'm like, oh shit, I'm the last person they needed. We gotta go. Press the letter C to bring up your character sheet. Go to loadout real quick. Shadow. Click activate. Boom. I'm ready. Just to double check before I actually accept the summons, assuming they give a summons. Just to double check it real quick. We are correct. We're good to go. It's just that fast. It's just that simple. Now, probably some of you are noticing that, hey man, the gear didn't look like it was there initially on your loadout sheet. And you are absolutely right. It was not there. And I'll show you why in just a second. Alright, so let's go back to our loadout. I've got all my gear back where it's supposed to go. So we're at naked. Let's swap here. As you can see, there's nothing here. Now, all my gear was in my inventory. Yes, it would populate here, but it doesn't. And I don't know why it doesn't. It just doesn't. But it's there, and all you have to do is click activate to do it. So that's another reason why I was saying that when you pull your gear out and you put it on to the spec that you want it to be on, you need to make sure that your stats are correct. If you cannot achieve the stats that you're looking for or the stats that you need for the class that you're playing, then you need to figure out what you're missing. Is it a stem? Is it a pair of boots? Is it a belt? Is it an earring? Do I have the right implant on? Once you figure out what you're missing, swap it out. While you're in that spec, click naked to put it all back into your inventory, and then put it away. And whenever you're ready to go again on that character, just click the DPS spec or whatever spec we're working on right now. For me, it's DPS, and then click activate. And it'll automatically equip your character. It's that simple. The hardest part that people are going to have with this is making sure they have the right details or the right stats for the class that they're currently playing. That's going to be the hardest thing for most people, is trying to figure out, oh, well, what if I have 2 alacrity implants? What do I do? Well, if you have 2 alacrity implants, swap out an earring for a critical earring. Or swap out, maybe it's like, dude, I don't have an extra earring, but I've got like 12 pairs of boots. Be like, dude, just swap out your boots then. It doesn't matter which piece, Like, if you don't have an alacrity earring, but you're using a critical earring, that's simple. That's a simple fix. Just, let's say you have this setup, and you're like, okay, now my alacrity is poop. Now I need to be over 7% alacrity. What can I swap out? Well, I got 12 extra pairs of boots that have alacrity on them. Just swap out your alacrity. Swap out your boots for alacrity boots, and boom, we're right back where we were. It's not a big deal at all. Just figure out which piece you need, and make sure you're wearing the correct gear for the spec that you're playing. And then once you have it set up here in the loadout for the spec, you'll never have to mess with it ever again on that character. So long as the gear gets put back inside the legacy bank. If the gear doesn't get put back in the legacy bank, you can kiss all this work goodbye, because the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to hop to your character after playing on a different one that was using the same gear, and then you're going to go to your legacy bay to try to activate your loadout, and you're missing half your gear, or all of it, or a piece. That's the reason why we make a naked loadout. As long as you remember to go to naked every single time, you won't have to worry about it, because your gear will automatically be in your inventory as a reminder to put it back inside your legacy storage. But this is the same with any spec. You can do this with multiple specs on the same character. You need sage heals? Boom. I'm sage. I'm a sage now. And now I know I just need to put my gear back in the bank, because they overbooked healers, but they need a tank. So I just put my gear back in the bank. Now they need a tank. Okay, I'm gonna skank tank it because it's story mode. Why not? Now I'm a skank tank. But now they overbooked tanks, so now I gotta be a DPS parse monkey, I guess. So we'll just come over here, we'll just put all this back. and now we're going to go shadow DPS. Okay, we're good to go. Like, it's literally that simple, guys. I hope y'all found this video helpful, and if you have any questions at all, please feel free to leave questions down in the comments if you have any. Otherwise, guys, I will see y'all in the next video. Take care.